I think in Hollywood at that time there wasn't too many minorities at that time, and and plus the fact there weren't too many martial artists like there are now. So they had to more or less pave the way. Like people like Bruce Lee paved the way, and Gene LaBelle obviously paved the way. You know, because at that time the stunt people were either rodeo people, they were probably acrobats, gymnasts, and it wasn't really any kind of martial arts skill being shown on the screen.
Yeah.
I think.
Isn't it strange though how we've always had a dotted line connection to all these people? And then I think about you knew Steven Seagal, or we knew him as Stevie Seagal at the time, and you knew he was going to be famous before anybody knew he was going to be famous.
I won't say I knew he was going. I knew that he was going to do well.
Yeah.
And then, which was the opposite of Bruce Lee. I didn't think he was going to make it at all. He says, like, I'm going to go back to Hong Kong and I'm going to make these pictures. I'm going to learn how to do cinematography. I'm going to learn how to write scripts. And I go, oh my gosh, you're a martial artist.
Yeah.
This is not your field. But
yeah.
he fooled everybody and went back and
right.
He did all of it.
Well, I mean, he really paved the way for a lot of martial artists.
Definitely paved the way.
You know, I was like talking, Ron and I, we were talking with Steven Seagal, and he goes, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Bruce Lee. And, you know, he is still so grateful, you know. And you have Chuck and Jean-Claude and all these people.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were pretty much used Bruce Lee as a kind of a guide to see what could be done, and he definitely paved the way for a lot of people. Not only for martial art, I think he paved the way for people because he was so inspirational to a lot of different people. So that irregardless what their field was, you could relate to him. I think what I found out also, he paved the way for people to bring people together. You know.
Yeah, that was most important. Like I remember as a little girl, you know, of course, when you're a child, you don't realize that the people around you are shaping your future. But I mean, as a little girl, being able to be around Kareem Abdul-Jabar. I mean, I remember the Haber brothers, who were Jewish and came from Germany, escaped World War II. I remember them very vividly.
So what do you remember now as a child? What do you remember about Kareem?
Oh gosh, I just remember he came by one time, and I remember his head almost hitting the ceiling. I do remember him stopping by.
Seafood Bruce's house, right?
No, I think he also stopped by the Carson house too for some reason. I think it must have been like I must have been 4 or 5, but I got the feeling you were still calling him Lew. I don't know if he had made the transition from Lew to Kareem. Right.
At UCLA.
Yeah.
That was year I think Lew Alcindor was a freshman in UCLA.
Right.
And at that time, UCLA was the #1 basketball team in the nation, but they were the number 2 team in Westwood, because the freshman basketball team, because of Kareem, was stronger than the first team in the nation at that time. But what I remember about, he picked you up one time and sort of placed you on the roof of Seafood Bruce's house, and then took you down gently and laid you down. So
but wasn't Mom like going, no? Or something like that?
I don't think she freaked out too much, but I probably got a little scared.
You're so underplaying, Mom. My mom was really scared. She was like, oh my God, putting a baby on the roof. But you know, I mean,
he was,
for Kareem, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he was quite. It's amazing because I don't think Bruce Lee knew who Kareem was.
No, I remember you told me that.
He was probably the most highly touted basketball player, high school basketball player. Wow. And he said, I'm going to train this guy named Lew Alcindor. And I said, oh my gosh, can I come and watch the lesson? and then he didn't know who he was. And he says, well, what's so special about him? He says, I had to fill him in. So this guy is probably the best prospect that's ever come in the UCLA. And this person's really going to make it in the basketball world. Yeah. But he didn't know who he was because he didn't follow American sports at that time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a big thrill. For me, it was big. Being with Bruce Lee, I got to meet Steve McQueen, which I thought was a big thrill, and I got to meet James Coburn, who were at that time pretty well-known movie stars. So for me, it was like getting to meet people probably I would have never met if it wasn't for Bruce Lee. You know.